Hello, friends. Today I've got a new topic for you. Have you ever heard of hot yoga? In the US, a lot of seniors are turning to this practice as a way to keep their bodies flexible and their minds relaxed. I remember one of my patients, she's over 60 now, who shared that after every hot yoga session, she feels like she's knocked a few years off her age. Her breathing gets more steady and her sleep becomes deeper. But alongside those benefits, there's something we, especially folks over 50, really need to think hard about. Is hot yoga safe for our brain and heart health? Let me paint a picture for you. In a steamy, high-temperature room, your body has to work overtime to cool itself down. For younger people, that might just be a good challenge. But for seniors, whose circulatory system and brain blood vessels are already more sensitive, dehydration and rising blood pressure can ramp up your stroke risk, the chance of having a stroke. Some studies even show that cerebral anemia, or transient cerebral ischemia, can happen when your blood can't deliver enough oxygen to the brain in that prolonged heat. I'm not saying you should swear off hot yoga entirely, but listen to your body. If you've ever felt dizzy, lightheaded, or had a headache during class, that could be a red flag. Maybe a gentle yoga session in a cool, comfortable space would offer more benefits and safety. And the question I'm leaving you with today is, are you picking a type of exercise that truly nourishes your body, or are you just chasing the latest trend?
Have you ever tried burpees? This exercise combines strength and cardio, often praised as the king of full-body workouts. I once met a senior, over 55, full of enthusiasm, determined to do burpees every morning to stay in shape. But just a few weeks in, he started complaining about his heart racing, occasional dizziness, and even had to stop mid-session once because he was out of breath. Burpees are indeed great for younger folks with strong hearts and flexible joints. But for those over 50, the body has changed. Joints may be wearing down. Blood vessels aren't as elastic. Doing burpees at a high pace puts stress on the heart and brain, potentially increasing stroke risk. Especially when blood flow can't keep up, you might experience cerebral anemia, a temporary lack of blood to the brain, causing dizziness or loss of balance. Picture this. Every jump, every push-up, your heart's working like an engine pushed to its limit. And if that engine has been running for decades, is it still safe to keep revving it at full speed? From working with patients, I've learned that not every intense, trendy exercise suits everyone. Sometimes choosing gentler movements that keep your heart steady and breathing calm is the smarter way to care for yourself. What do you think? Do you need to push your body with burpees? Or could there be a safer, more sustainable path for your 50s and beyond?
Ever felt the breeze on your face while biking? Your legs pedaling rhythmically? That sense of freedom? It's amazing, right? But after 50, cycling intensely for long stretches becomes a different story. I worked with a 62-year-old patient who loved biking miles every morning. At first, he felt energized, but after a few months, he started noticing headaches, sometimes dizziness, like the world was spinning around him. Long, intense bike rides make your heart pump hard under constant pressure, which can raise stroke risk, especially if you have a history of high blood pressure or less flexible blood vessels. Dehydration, combined with leaning forward for hours, can limit oxygen to the brain, leading to cerebral anemia, a temporary shortage of blood flow that leaves you exhausted or disoriented. A ride meant to refresh you could turn into a health risk. Imagine your heart as a machine that's been running for over half a century. It's still strong, but not like it was in your 20s. The wise move isn't to push it to the max, but to keep it steady and reliable. Maybe shorter rides with breaks to check your pulse and breathe bring more benefits than an exhausting marathon. So what's your goal? To conquer the road or to conquer aging with lasting health and peace?
Have you ever tried Russian twists, those quick torso rotations? For younger people, it's a fantastic way to tone abs and boost flexibility. But after 50, it's not so simple. I recall a 58-year-old patient who loved trying new core exercises. She said Russian twists made her feel like she was burning fat fast. But a few weeks in, she started feeling nagging back pain and dizziness when standing up quickly. Rapid twisting puts intense pressure on your spine and core. For those with early spine degeneration or less flexible joints, this can lead to injury. Plus, the fast pace can make your heart adjust blood flow suddenly, sometimes causing cerebral anemia, a brief lack of blood to the brain. For those with heart issues, this also raises stroke risk. Think of your body after 50 like an old tree, sturdy but not as bendy as a young sapling. If you keep twisting it fast and hard, can it hold up long term? Instead of high-speed Russian twists, slow, controlled stretches with deep breathing might improve blood flow and protect your joints. So what's your choice? Lasting health to age gracefully, or quick results with hidden risks?
Plank seems simple, right? Just hold a position. But have you ever tried holding a plank for a long time? For young folks, it's a test of strength and grit. But for seniors over 50, planking too long can feel like a grueling exam for your body. I once met a 65-year-old man who challenged himself to plank for 5 minutes daily. A few weeks in, he noticed shaky arms, numb shoulders, and occasional dizziness after standing up. Holding a plank for ages tightens muscles, makes breathing shallow, and forces your heart to work harder to keep blood flowing. This can reduce blood to the brain, causing cerebral anemia, and for those with weaker hearts, it ups stroke risk. Plus, aging shoulders, wrists, and spines take a beating under that prolonged pressure, risking silent injuries. Imagine your body as a house that stood for decades. It's solid, but every brick and beam has faced years of wear. Is it wise to keep piling on the strain? Instead of long planks, why not try shorter sets with breaks, focusing on deep breaths? It's not about how long you hold, but whether you're listening to your body and exercising sustainably. So what matters more, a plank record or a healthy heart and brain for the long haul?
Ever tried lifting heavy weights overhead? In the gym, it's seen as a badge of strength and grit. But for seniors over 50, it's a challenge that might bring more risks than rewards. I remember a 60-year-old patient, a former military man who loved high-intensity workouts. He'd lift heavy weights overhead to prove he was still tough. But months later, he started feeling sharp neck pain and dizziness during sessions, sometimes seeing stars. Lifting heavy overhead spikes pressure on your neck, shoulders, and brain's blood vessels. For those with weaker hearts, this sudden strain can spike blood pressure, raising stroke risk. Holding your breath while pushing up can also cut blood flow to the brain, causing cerebral anemia, that dizzy, blackout feeling after lowering the weight. Think of your heart and blood vessels after 50 as a bridge weathered by years of storms. It can still hold weight, but is it smart to keep piling on heavy loads? Instead of heavy overhead lifts, lighter weights with controlled breathing might keep you strong and safe. So, are you training to flex for a moment or to nurture a body that thrives for years to come?
Remember jumping rope as a kid? You could hop hundreds of times without a care. But after 50, your body doesn't work like it used to. I had a 57-year-old patient who wanted to relive her youth with high-speed jump rope every morning. At first, she loved the rush, heart pumping, sweat pouring, but weeks later, she reported knee pain, chest tightness, and nearly fainted mid-session. High-speed jump rope makes your heart work at triple speed compared to walking or yoga. For aging hearts, this can spike blood pressure, raising stroke risk. When oxygen runs low, blood might not reach the brain fast enough, causing cerebral anemia, dizziness, imbalance, even falls. Plus, aging knees and spines take a beating from the constant impact. Picture your body as a song. In your 20s, it could play fast and loud. After 50, it needs a slower, smoother rhythm to last. Do you need to make your heart race when what you really want is steady, safe health? Instead of intense jump rope, try gentle hopping or brisk walking, safe ways to keep your heart healthy. What's more important, speed or a long, healthy journey?
Ever tried box jumps or plyometric jumps? For young folks, they're great for building explosive power and agility, but for seniors over 50, those big leaps can carry more risks than benefits. I had a 60-year-old patient who loved gym challenges. He said box jumps made him feel 30 again. But months later, he dealt with lingering knee pain and nearly passed out after landing once. Box jumps demand every muscle to fire, with your heart racing to keep up. For older adults, these explosive moves can spike blood pressure, increasing stroke risk. Sudden demands on your heart can also limit blood to the brain, causing cerebral anemia, dizziness, or wobbling. Plus, aging joints take a pounding with every landing, raising injury risks. Think of your body as a bridge that stood for decades. It's strong, but constant heavy jolts might weaken it. Is that worth the risk? Instead of box jumps, try low step-ups or balance exercises. True strength isn't in explosive leaps, but in staying steady and healthy day after day. So, what's your goal? A fleeting thrill? Or a body that thrives into old age?
When was the last time you did push-ups? For young people, rapid push-ups are a show of strength, a race to outlast others. But after 50, they're a serious challenge. I met a 59-year-old man who did fast push-ups every morning, dozens in one go. He felt pumped at first with tighter pecs, but weeks later he reported shoulder pain, chest tightness, and once felt his vision blur when standing up. Fast, forceful push-ups make your heart race suddenly, sending blood to your upper body. For those with heart issues, this can spike blood pressure, raising stroke risk. If your heart and breathing lose control, blood might not carry enough oxygen to the brain, causing cerebral anemia, dizziness, or wobbling. Plus, aging shoulders and wrists, worn by time, take a beating from repetitive strain. Imagine your body as a classic car you've driven for decades. It's still powerful, but it needs care, not reckless speeding. Instead of rapid push-ups, try slow, controlled ones, focusing on breathing and form. It's not about how many you do, but how you keep your body strong for the long run. So, what's your choice? A brief moment of glory, or years of health and ease with loved ones?
This might surprise you, but even daily bathroom habits can become a health challenge after 50. I had a 63-year-old patient who thought digestion was no big deal. But once, while straining hard on the toilet, he suddenly felt dizzy, his heart raced, and he ended up in the ER with a transient ischemic attack, temporary brain blood shortage. Straining hard spikes pressure in your chest and abdomen, stressing your heart and blood vessels. For those with high blood pressure or hardened arteries, this simple act can raise stroke risk. Overexertion can also block blood flow to the brain, causing cerebral anemia, dizziness, fainting, or worse, right in the bathroom. Think of your body as a clock, ticking for decades. It still runs, but if you keep winding it too hard, it might break. Instead of straining, focus on a high-fiber diet, enough water, and light exercise to keep digestion smooth. Here's my question for you. Are you treating your body with patience and care, or pushing it with silent pressures? Sometimes lasting health comes from the smallest choices, even in everyday moments like a bathroom visit.
Have you ever tried climbing stairs at a fast pace? Many see it as a fantastic, simple way to boost cardio fitness. But after 50, your body doesn't respond as nimbly as it did in your 20s. I recall a 56-year-old patient who chose to take the stairs instead of the elevator every morning, racing up as if it were a competition. At first, she felt invigorated, sweating and heart pumping. But a few months later, she started feeling dizzy at the top, sometimes needing to sit down because her heart was racing too fast. Climbing stairs quickly forces your heart to work at full throttle, pumping blood to fuel muscles and the brain.
For older adults, this intense effort can spike blood pressure, increasing stroke risk. Plus, if your body can't supply enough oxygen fast enough, your brain might experience cerebral anemia, a temporary lack of blood flow, causing dizziness, exhaustion, or even fainting on the stairs, which is incredibly dangerous. Not to mention, aging knees and hips take a beating from the repetitive impact of rapid steps. Picture your body as a cherished instrument, played for decades. If you play it too fast, too hard, will the sound stay clear, or will a string snap mid-tune? Instead of racing upstairs, try climbing slowly, pausing to let your heart and breathing settle. Health isn't a sprint, it's a long, steady journey. So here's my question. Do you want to rush to the top, or have the strength to enjoy the view for the rest of your life's journey? Ever sat down at a leg press machine in the gym thinking, this is the fastest way to strong legs? For younger folks, pushing heavy weights with their legs builds confidence and muscle. But for seniors over 50, that machine can be a double-edged sword. I met a 61-year-old man who loved testing himself on the leg press, cranking the weight up high to push his limits. After just a few sessions, he started complaining of lower back pain, chest tightness, and once nearly fainted after standing up post-workout. Using the leg press with heavy weights puts direct pressure on your spine, hips, and knees. At this age, those areas often show signs of wear and tear, making them prone to injury. Plus, holding your breath to push the weight can spike blood pressure, significantly raising stroke risk. A brief disruption in blood flow to the brain can also cause cerebral anemia, temporary oxygen shortage, leading to dizziness, lightheadedness, or even collapsing in the gym. Imagine your body after 50 as a machine that's been running strong for a half-century. It's still powerful, but not built for max output anymore. Forcing it to lift heavy loads is like asking an old engine to climb a steep hill at full throttle. Instead of chasing big numbers on the machine, try moderate weights with steady breathing, or opt for gentler exercises like bodyweight squats, walking, or resistance bands. Here's my question. Are you training to prove how strong you are, or to keep your legs steady for the long road of aging?
Think running long distances is the ultimate symbol of health? It's true. When you're young, you can run miles and feel exhilarated. But for seniors over 50, uncontrolled long-distance running can be a double-edged sword. I worked with a 58-year-old patient determined to run a marathon to prove he was still fit. He trained daily, pounding out miles without enough rest. A few months later, he started having chest pain, shortness of breath, and even ended up in the hospital with a transient ischemic attack, a temporary lack of blood to the brain. Running long distances without pacing yourself makes your heart pump hard for hours. For an aging cardiovascular system, this can spike blood pressure, making stroke risk a real concern. Dehydration and insufficient oxygen delivery can also lead to cerebral anemia, causing dizziness, exhaustion, or collapsing mid-run. Plus, aging knees, ankles, and hips take full impact with every step, increasing injury risks. Picture your heart as a machine that's been running non-stop for over half a century. It's still strong, but not meant for endless marathons like it was in your 20s. Sometimes slowing down or shortening the distance is what keeps it durable. So here's my question. Do you want to mark your life with exhausting miles, or nurture a steady, safe journey so you can keep running with your grandkids for years to come?
Imagine a quiet morning with soft sunlight streaming through your window. You roll out your yoga mat, thinking about trying some inversions like a headstand or shoulder stand. Sounds exciting and empowering, right? But for seniors, we need to pause and ask, is your body truly ready for this? I had a patient, over 60, who tried a headstand after watching an online tutorial. At first, she felt exhilarated, like she was young again. But seconds later, her face flushed, her blood pressure spiked, and her doctor warned that she'd narrowly escaped a serious stroke risk, all from one wrong yoga pose. When you go upside down, blood rushes to your brain. For young, healthy people, this might feel invigorating. But for those with weaker blood vessels or a history of cerebral anemia, temporary brain blood shortage, it's a risky challenge. Ever felt dizzy or lightheaded standing up too fast? Multiply that feeling several times and you'll see why inversions can be dangerous. I'm not saying yoga's bad. On the contrary, yoga's a wonderful gift for your health. But the key is choosing poses that match your age and physical condition. For seniors, gentle movements like deep breathing, light forward folds, or child's pose can bring safe, soothing relaxation. Here's the thing. Sometimes listening to your body matters more than mastering a flashy pose. I want you to remember this. True health isn't about proving how much you can do, it's about the wisdom to choose what truly nourishes you. I once had a patient, a senior over 55, who came to me raving about the Wim Hof breathing method, holding your breath for long stretches, pushing your body to its limits. He said, "Doc, I feel like I can conquer the world doing this." But moments later, he admitted he'd passed out in his living room once, luckily with family nearby to help. You see, extreme breath holding sounds adventurous, but for a body that's been running for half a century, it's like walking a tightrope between health and danger. When you hold your breath for too long, your brain starves for oxygen, almost like cerebral anemia. And you know what? That's a fertile ground for stroke risk, something many older adults silently carry. Picture this. You're sitting quietly, taking a deep breath, and holding it. At first, your mind might feel sharp, a rush of excitement. But seconds later, you're dizzy, your heart's pounding irregularly, sweat's pouring. That's not a sign of strength. It's your body sounding an alarm. Another patient once told me, "I wanted to try it because I saw young people doing it." And that's what I want you to reflect on. Age doesn't make you less capable, but a senior's body needs smarter choices. Instead of pushing to extremes, why not try gentle, safe breathing exercises like diaphragmatic breathing or alternate nostril breathing? Science shows these reduce stress and improve blood flow without putting you at risk. At this age, health isn't a race to prove yourself, it's the art of listening to your body. Sometimes breathing gently and naturally is the key to living longer and more peacefully. If you've found these insights helpful for yourself or others, please subscribe to the channel to share them with those you care about. This could be a priceless gift for many. Thank you for following along and listening to what I've shared. Drop a comment below so we can discuss and uncover even more great ideas together.